Hey everyone, Rohan here. We're here with Damon and Emily from Lutron. Do you want to just drive right into it, talk about yourselves? What do you guys do at Lutron?
Hi, I'm Damon Williams, the marketing manager at Lutron for our Caséta and our Serena brands.
I'm Emily White. I'm the product manager for our Serena and Caséta shades that we're launching today.
That's awesome. So you have your shades. Tell us a little bit about these shades. Obviously they're up right now, so where's the switch for this? Oh, there you go.
Right here.
Let's try that one and let's bring it down. So tell us a little bit about the shades. Obviously there's two variants. There's one in the back. We'll go to the back in a second. What are we looking at and what's new, what's different, what's cool about this?
Yeah, so as of Sunday, we launched our new Caséta smart shades with the aim to really bring the luxury of smart shades to more consumers and specifically for the DIY consumer. So those at home looking to upgrade their smart home and are really hands-on with installing the shades themselves. Really bringing the benefits of convenience, privacy, peace in cutting the glare of the sunlight to their home. So what we're looking at here is our roller shade in gray. So we've launched a roller shade and a honeycomb, as you mentioned, in white and gray. And we're bringing that price at an accessible price of $399 for shades up to 48 inches wide by 80 inches tall. So in our light filtering, and then an additional $30 for the blackout versions.
Right, and that's blackout for both variants, both in the roller shades as well as the honeycomb.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's great to hear. This is your kind of first foray into DIY, is that correct? From a shade perspective.
I would say we have a DIY-able shade in our Serena.
Yes.
This one is a bit more streamlined in the way you would order it, as well as the offerings of fabric choice.
Okay.
And style choice.
So talk about what that means. So like from an ordering process perspective, what does that look like? So I'm a new user, what do I do?
You would go right to our Caséta Wireless website and click on Smart Shades, and then it would give you 5 or 6 questions really. What style are you looking for? Honeycomb or roller? Are you looking for a white fabric or a gray one? And then light filtering or the blackout fabrics.
So they are custom fitted to your windows, not specific, like, you kind of go to like a hardware store or whatever and say, hey, I want that one because that is this specific size or something like that, and then have to get them to cut it down and et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly, yeah. Every single shade, whether it's within the flat pricing range of the 48 by 80 dimensions or we do go wider than that for an additional cost, is going to be custom made down to the 1/8 of the inch based on the customer's inputted measurements at the time of order.
Perfect. Okay. And you kind of talked about the different methods to, like in the ordering guide, you talked about like dimensioning, right? So you can have it in the frame, on the frame, or above the frame as normal, as
all the same options.
Perfect. And typically, how does somebody order these shades? Does that go through your website? Do you go through a vendor?
Yep. So we're launching the Caséta Smart Shades from Lutron Direct only right now on our Caséta Wireless website. Okay.
And how about, obviously we have a global audience here, so how about accessibility to get that? Is it U.S. only, U.S. North America?
They're
Europe?
U.S. only at this time.
U.S. only at this time.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Let's go to the other side. I want to also show off the honeycomb shades here. And obviously this does integrate into the Lutron product set. So like, for example, like I talked about before we started recording at home, I have a Lutron system at home, right? Mostly light switches. So what is the process of the honeycomb versus or roller shades? How do I integrate that into my Caséta world?
Once you receive your shades, and when you're ordering, you have the option of thinking through how you want to control them. All of our shades can be simply controlled with just our standalone Pico shade remotes. That's the same aesthetic as our lighting remotes. This is a lighting one, but here's a shade one. So you see that's our classic Lutron Pico remote. You can pair that with your shade just as easily as you can pair a lighting control product with your shade today. There's a button at the top on the head rail of all shades that you just tap, hold down the close button on your Pico, and then you're set up. For our smart home lovers who are looking to do more with their shades, you will pair the shade to your hub, Also, just as simply as you pair any lighting control today with your hub, put it in that discovery mode, choose a shade versus a dimmer that you're used to. Your button on your shade's going to flash. You're going to hold down your button.
Right.
That's going to pair. Then you can pair your Pico, set up your scenes, schedules, all the same way that you do today with your lighting controls.
Perfect. So yeah, so everything just kind of shows up. And what I like as well is because of the form factor of the, I mean, like you said, this is a light switch, but both kind of light or shade. You can use a light switch as a shade remote as well, can you not? Just obviously the icons are different.
Yeah,
but
we wouldn't recommend that because it's a little unintuitive.
Sure,
yes, but
sure, aesthetic-wise and
right.
et cetera. Yeah, but what I like about this is you can fit it into your wall panel like this, right? So it doesn't have to necessarily, you can have your light switch here and you can have a remote right next to it.
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
With I guess a multi-gang.
I think that's something that's really exciting about the shade controls. If we go over here, we have a double gang setup with a wall box installed light switch in theory. So today, if we have, a light switch on your wall that's just that one half and that's wired into your house, controlling your overhead lights, you can use our Pico adapter and a double gang wall plate to just pair a shade remote right next to it and make it look like it's built into the home, which adds to like the luxurious feeling, I think, of these shades. They're battery powered. You can put them anywhere you want. You can put the control anywhere you want, but it creates a look that like your home was custom built with all these amazing shades.
Absolutely. And I think, one of the nice things I like about that is you have the option to put it on your wall, right? So like, for example, like for me, for some, I don't know, whatever silly reason that my builder built it, my washroom lights are actually outside of my light switches are outside of the room of the washroom on an adjacent wall, not even on the same back wall, right?
Yeah, we always see that.
Yeah, so I actually personally I leverage the Pico remotes for light and for the exhaust fan in there as a remote inside the bathroom because that's a little more intuitive.
Put them anywhere you need them.
Yeah, so it's super nice. So the nice thing is you don't need the hole in the wall or anything like that. You just need 4 little screw holes or 2 little screw holes depending on the size of your face of the what's it called, the cover that you're putting in, right? So that's really nice. And then at this point that would just be, hey, great, I have maybe a 1 gang box. I just keep the 1 gang box. I don't need to cut my drywall or expand it in any way. So then if I'm leaving if I move out of the house or anything like that, I can just put a 1 gang box back in.
Exactly.
So I really like that.
Yeah, and a 10-year battery life on the Pico too, so like once it's up, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and how about on the shade? So you mentioned their battery. So there's no live, you're not going to connect mains power to the shade?
Correct, yeah. That's one of the big differentiators of Lutron's Caséta smart shades is they're battery powered only for that mass market DIY customer to put them anywhere they need them easily without having to worry about wiring or bringing in an electrician.
Yeah.
The batteries are located in the headrail for both styles. So for the roller shade, they're located in the tube, and for the honeycomb shade, they're in that top headrail bit. Both options, the batteries will last you 2 years, assuming they're moving up and down about once a day.
Okay, that's actually pretty decent. And they do use D-cell batteries.
They use D-cell batteries. Yep, I believe this size uses probably 4.
Yeah.
It could range up to 6 or 8 depending on width, but the standard's going to be 4 for most normal size windows.
That makes sense because it's bigger. The motor
the wider, the taller, the more power you're going to need.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you guys deal with all that, figuring out how many batteries and stuff like that.
Exactly, yep. When you order each line item, we'll tell you exactly how many batteries to prepare yourself with.
That's perfect. I think other than that, the other question I had is, I mean, these do look really nice as is, but is there any valence options or anything like that, or is it just straight, just the roller or the honeycomb?
The valence options are what you're looking at. So for our roller shade, it's this kind of modern open roll design, we're calling it. So this is actually similar to our top of the line Palladium shades that go in the most luxury of Lutron homes.
Yeah.
We kind of replicated that sleek, modern open roll look for the Caséta Smart Shade. Yeah. And then the honeycomb shade has this a bit of a lower profile shorter headrail. So if you're doing an inside mount style, sometimes the honeycomb look is preferred because when your shade is fully raised, it takes up a bit less of the window. Yeah. But yeah, these are the fascia options.
Which kind of does look like there's almost a valence.
Right. It's covered. It's clean. Look. Yeah. The batteries are hidden.
Yeah, and especially if you're putting it in your window frame, it really doesn't make a difference at that point either, because a lot of that will be hidden. Yeah. So then our Serena offering is where we open up now more bespoke customization options where you can have a roller shade with our metal architectural fascia or our
matching fabric wrapped fascia, and there's a handful of more options now when you go up into the Serena line.
Very cool. And since it is DIY, what does the install process look like? I know, Damon, you mentioned that it's really easy to do. You did it yourself, kind of thing. So what does that look like? I mean,
we have some great videos for every step of the process.
Yeah.
So when you're ordering, right when you're entering your measurements, there's links to YouTube videos of people measuring their windows for all the mounting types, showing you exactly where to measure, how to measure, which inputs to measure. Like we said, they're custom made, and they're more affordable at $3.99, but it's still not something you want to mess up.
Yeah,
so we're putting a lot of thought into those measurement videos. When you receive your shade, it's going to come with a QR code little insert in the box that you scan, and that'll take you to our install guides and our installation videos. We say that if you can hang a picture, with 2 screws and make it level, you can hang a shade. The process is really just your shade's going to be up when you receive it. The honeycomb has this back plate. You're going to mount that back plate on the wall and then screw it in. For the roller shade, there's 2 separate, there's 2 separate brackets. So these are 2 floating brackets that you have to mount, and then the tube just simply kind of clicks in between them.
Got it. And is it side mount only, or is there a top mount option? Like if I'm mounting it in within a window frame?
Sure. So you're going to mount either into the wall or into the jamb, sideways. Yep.
Okay. Perfect. About the noise around these shades. So, how loud, how quiet? Again, can we put it in like a baby room while the baby is sleeping to go up and down? Can we do something else? Like, what's that look like?
Yeah, so all Lutron smart shades are extremely quiet.
Yeah.
Caséta smart shades are the same. They're a touch louder. I think Serena are typically 38 decibels, and Caséta are like 44. But it's a negligible difference. So, that's one of the things that stands out about Lutron shades in general is how quiet they are.
Yeah.
We can kind of.
I was going to say, let's just open it up or something. I'm standing right next to it, and I can hear it. Like, I know it's going, but it is extremely quiet.
You have to focus on it and look at it to really hear it.
Yeah, which I really like. Does it get louder with the bigger?
Not significantly.
Motors? Okay. No. So this is obviously one of the standard motors that would come with it.
Exactly.
But even if I went above the standard 48, I think you said?
Yes.
It's still going to be very similarly quiet.
Very similar mechanism. It has that extra power with the extra batteries like we talked about, so it ends up being negligible.
Amazing. Perfect. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for your time again. I know CES is always busy for you guys too. I really appreciate you making the time for us and our viewers. Anything else to finish it?
No, thank you, Home Assistant Podcast, for stopping by, and check out the Caséta Smart Shades on CasétaWireless.com. They're available now.
Perfect. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.